Every time I pick up my guitar, I use this shape. It contains every chord, every scale, and everything else I need all at once. It works in every style, and it stays exactly the same in every key. It's also super easy to learn, and once you do, I promise you'll be using it every single time you pick up your guitar too. So let's break it down. And if you want the fretboard diagrams from this lesson in one printable cheat sheet, you can grab that over on my Patreon, which is linked below. It's all gotta start with something simple, something that's easy to remember no matter where we put it on the fretboard. So let me show you the foundation we'll build everything on. We've got this note here and one right above it on the next string here. We've got this note up 2 frets and above it right here, up another 2 frets and above it, and then up 1 fret and above that as well. This is the shape we're going to be starting with. Really drill this into your memory because it's going to be the foundation we build everything upon. I want you to pay attention to 2 spots specifically in the shape. This one right here and this one right here. These notes are important because they tell us which key we're in, which obviously matters a lot. So this note tells us our major key, and this one tells us our minor key. In this case, that would mean the key of C major, because that's a C note, and the key of A minor, because that's an A note. The remaining notes in the shape also matter because they map out all the chords in this key, which is why I typically call this shape a chord roadmap. So each note here represents a bar chord. If you play a bar chord starting on each of these notes, you'd have every chord in the key of C major or A minor. I've color coded them here, so the red ones are major, the blue ones are minor, and the green one is the half diminished chord. So check this out. Right down here, G major. Right above it, we've got C major. Then we move up to the next spot. We've got A minor because it's blue. We've got D minor above it because it's blue. Then we keep on going. Here we've got that half diminished chord. It represents a diminished triad, but half diminished is the full chord. And so this shape is a little bit funny. We just play this small shape. But right above that is a regular minor chord. And then for our last 2 here, we've got major, which this chord, you can see it's a C major. It's the exact same chord as the one down here that we started on. So we basically go in a full circle. And above it, that F major chord, just like that. Any combination of these chords works together. That would just be a chord progression in the key of C major or A minor. And if you happen to know your 7th chord shapes, you can totally use those in place of these basic bar chords as well. It would all work the same way. Now, something this does is give us 3 distinct hand positions. We've got the first one back here on these 2 notes, the next one in the middle on these 2 notes, and then the remaining 4 notes put us in that 3rd position, right? Because they're so close together, I would call that one position. When you think of the term positions, what do you think of? The pentatonic positions. So in every one of those 3 positions, we have a pentatonic position sitting conveniently on top. So in this first position for the first 2 chords here, we have our position 5 pentatonic. For our next 2 chords here, sitting right on top, we've got our position 1 pentatonic. And for that last group of 4 here, we've got our position 2 pentatonic. What's so convenient about this is that whenever we play a chord, we don't have to move our hand to play some notes from the scale. And when we play a scale, we know exactly where our most important chords are. Already pretty useful stuff so far, but we're only just scratching the surface. Next, we can return our pentatonic scale shapes to their full major or minor scale shapes. So this means just taking the 5-note pentatonic and turning it back into the full 7-note scale that it came from. So if we go back here to position 5, we've got this now. For position 1, we now have this. And then for our last one, position 2, we now have this. I actually find myself using these shapes a lot more than the pentatonic ones, but it's easy enough to just leave a few notes out whenever you want that specific pentatonic sound. Okay, so far we've learned the chord roadmap, the bar chords that go along with it, the 3 pentatonic scale positions, and the 3 major minor scale positions as well. That's a lot, but we've got another important piece of the puzzle. Triads, which probably has you thinking, oh no, I need to learn even more shapes, but you already know them. So check this out. We're gonna go back to our chord roadmap and our bar chords. Let's start with this G major chord here. If I just play the unbarred part of the bar chord, I've got a G major triad. And I can do that same thing for all the bar chords I already know. When I play the unbarred part of the chord, I'm just playing a triad that represents each chord. The one exception here is this one right here, that half diminished chord. And the reason is just because of the shape that we're forced to use, so we have to leave that out. Now you're just playing one inversion of the triad for each chord here. There are other inversions within each chord, but I don't really want us to get too bogged down here, so I'll link a lesson in the description that covers the rest of them. The trick to remembering these triads is to always relate the shape back to the bar chord it comes from. Visualize that bar chord shape each time and you'll never get lost. Finally, we need a pathway through this whole shape. And that is where the diagonal pentatonic scale comes in, which just sits right on top of everything and gives us a smooth way to travel between all 3 positions. Now, the incredible thing about everything you've learned is that the shapes themselves don't change when you want to change keys. You just take that original chord roadmap skeleton that we started with and line it up with whatever key you want to play in. Major or minor, it's all the same. Let's say we want to play in the key of B flat major or G minor. Well, we find a B flat note right there, and we just line our skeleton up. Remember the important notes that tell us our major and minor keys? B flat major and G minor. Now, everything else just falls right into place. The shapes themselves haven't changed. We've still got all those bar chords in the same spots. We've got the same shapes that we're using. We've got those same pentatonic positions. Everything's just now shifted down 2 frets to fit this new key. Again, diagonal pentatonic, everything stays the same. So what you've just learned is part of something I call the Homebase, where you create a super efficient, jam-packed section of the fretboard that lets you do literally everything. I actually have an entire course really diving into the Homebase concept called Soloing Made Simple, where you'll learn to improvise and write musical and melodic solos using this very concept. We start simple and then slowly build the Homebase up into something that lets you solo across the entire fretboard. It's an incredibly rewarding feeling. I know there are a lot of different soloing courses out there to choose from, but I really believe that the simplicity and clarity of this method is key to getting you the results that you're looking for. So if you want to give Soloing Made Simple a try, you can get 20% off by following the link at the top of the description and using coupon code 2025 at checkout. It's also backed by a 14-day no no questions asked money back guarantee, so you can try it out risk-free to make sure it's something you're really gonna like. Alternatively, if you're looking for something on YouTube to watch next, I'd recommend my lesson on why great players are obsessed with the pentatonic scale. There'll be a link to that video up in the middle of the screen for you. And again, all the fretboard diagrams from today's lesson will be available over on Patreon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.